This week I'm driving the 2023 Maserati Grecale Modena. On the road this week with the Grecale. The Grecale is the second SUV from Maserati. It's a little smaller than the Levante, and this SUV is going to compete in a really highly competitive market. This market is the compact, sport, high luxury SUVs. You can find some big competitors like the Porsche Macan or the BMW X3, and also, of course, the Alfa Romeo Stelvio. I thought, maybe this Maserati Grecale will be another Stellantis, kind of like a Dodge Hornet, another Stelvio in disguise. Same kind of size and engine and all that we can find with this Grecale, especially with the 2-liter and all that. But I'm surprised that there's a huge gap between those products, a big difference in the experience and all that. I was not expecting much because I was not really impressed with my experience with the Alfa Romeo Stelvio I drove last year, and I was not really impressed with the experience of that 2-liter under the hood. But this week it's something different.
Under the hood of the Grecale, you can have the choice of 4 different powertrains. The GT model gets the 4-cylinder 2-liter turbo of 296 horsepower. The Modena model gets a 4-cylinder 2-liter turbo plus a 48-volt mild hybrid systems, gets 325 horsepower and 332 foot-pounds of torque. And the Trofeo model gets the V6 3-liter twin-turbo, good for 523 horsepower. All these engines are matched to a 8-speed transmission and all-wheel drive. And finally, the Grecale will be soon available in an EV version called the Folgore.
Unfortunately, this week I only have the Modena model with the 2-liter. It's a little bit higher horsepower than the base model, but it's far, behind the Trofeo with the V6 borrowed from the MC20. But we're gonna test the acceleration. I'm gonna put it in sport right here on the steering wheel. Sport mode, we're ready to go. There you go, nice sound. You can do the 0 to 100 kilometers in 5 seconds, about 4.80 to 60 miles an hour. I like the sound, it doesn't sound like the other 2-liter of this kind I drove previously. It's a little bit more aggressive. It seems like the calibration and the power is there. Let's test the handling now. Downshift. Shot. Yeah, the handling is there. This Grecale doesn't feel too heavy, but at the same time not too aggressive. Maybe when you're inside of a X3 competition, it will be a little bit more aggressive than this. But once again, this model is not the Trofeo, it's not the top of the line in the Grecale lineup. Comfort-wise on the road, the Grecale, it's a really good sweet spot. It's not too hard, it's not too loose. You still have a good handling on the road, but still comfortable to drive it every day. I really like that sweet spot from Maserati compared to an Alfa Romeo. An Alfa Romeo is always a little bit too tight, a little bit too hard from my point of view. I'm a bigger guy. I feel the Maserati is always made for the little bit richer, bigger, fatter guys like me. I'm not really richer, but you know what I mean. The Maserati is a little more expensive, but you get a little more comfort than the Alfa Romeo. I like the mix of having a good support, but the seats are not too tight, not uncomfortable. These seats can be used on a daily basis all year long. I really like that. And on the road, you get a great mix, once again, of comfort and handling. And you can adjust all your modes right here on the steering wheel with the switch of a button, and you got different mode. You've got comfort, you've got GT. It's kind of like a Grand Tour mode, and also you've got sport. And what I really like, it's once you're in sport mode, you only have to press the middle button here, the suspension button, and you can deactivate the sport suspension. When you put it in sport, this is where it's going to be the most aggressive, suspension wise, calibration wise, and all that. But still there, you can deactivate the suspension if you think or you don't like the ride in the sport mode. You can switch back those dampers in comfort mode. And I like those little details, especially when you want to have like an aggressive type of driving, but you don't want to be beat up by the suspension, especially driving down the road here in Quebec with our beautiful roads full of puddles and surprises. Exterior wise, I think the Grecale, it's the most conservative of all the Maserati lineup. It's not really flashy. I don't know if it's because like the last time I drove a Maserati, it was like a bright yellow, but this one, the look, it doesn't really pop out like the Ghibli or the Levante I drove previously. I think maybe Maserati should have done something more flamboyant, maybe something more flashy to scream a little bit more Maserati. Yes, you've got some Trident all around, you've got some massive wheels, you've got a cool exhaust note and all that, but the design overall seems to blend with all the other SUVs down the road. Interior wise, it's one of the best Maserati interior I've been in so far. It's really the best one I've seen compared to the Levante and the Ghibli. This is really high quality. The way it's put together and all that, every time I was inside of the Ghibli or the Levante, I wasn't sure really about the fit and finish and all that, but it's a complete different story inside of this Grecale. Everything seems high quality, tight, nice finish, well put together. I really like that. When I was inside of the Levante, it really felt like I was in a kind of like an upscale Grand Cherokee or something like that, with some like really like Dodge, Jeep buttons and all that. Inside of the Grecale, it's a different story. You have to be a connoisseur to really tell which part is from the Stellantis or the Chrysler family background. It's really nice inside of this Grecale. We've got a really nice clock in the middle here of the dash. Usually those clock are like really mechanical, but this one is digital. Usually I prefer the ones that are similar to a real watch, but this one looks really good, and it pops out with the lights and all that. I think it's a nice add-on to this Grecale. But otherwise, the color of the leather, the quality of the leather, also the fit and finish, the suede on the roof, the steering wheels, everything, it's really nice. It feels Maserati, it feels upscale. I like having the start and stop button on the steering wheel, my drive mode right here. We have a really nice screen, it works pretty well. You've got a second screen also to adjust all your climates and all that. Underneath, you've got a place to recharge your phone wirelessly. You've got a little pocket here, all wrapped in 3D carbon, really nice. And that 3D carbon feels, better put together than the one I experienced in the Levante. And just a quick reminder, this is the entry-level Maserati, and it feels more upscale than the Levante or the Ghibli. So it tells you the direction of Maserati. They're improving and they're going somewhere. Really good sound system. One of the best experience lately. Also, if we step in the back, good amount of space for the size of this SUV. It's one of the largest in this category. And if we were looking at the trunk, once again, good amount of space in the trunk, really practical. Fuel economy wise, this week I was averaging around 13 liters per 100 kilometers. It's not the best, especially this engine is a mild hybrid. I don't think the mild hybrid do much from my point of view. This week it was one of the hottest week we had so far. Obviously I was running the AC all the time at really high levels, so that made affect a little bit the fuel economy, and you know, I had a little bit of fun with it. Maybe you can do lower fuel economy numbers than this, but still kind of thirsty for a little SUV.
Price-wise, the Maserati Grecale starts at $77,300. The Modena model starts at $87,600. The Grecale Modena I'm driving this week as equipped is good for $109,350. And finally, if you need more power and speed, the Trofeo model starts at $133,100.
Overall, the Grecale is a little bit different from the other ones. Obviously, it's not the one who's going to give you the maximum value for each dollar you're going to invest in. Obviously, there's a premium price to have that Maserati badge on the front, but for me, it's a big plus. You know, you've got something a little bit more expensive, a little bit more different from all the other Porsches, BMW, Mercedes-Benz down the road. You got to be a little bit more unique. It's a nice package. I can see why those SUVs are getting more and more popular. They're really practical to drive on a daily basis, all year round, all season. And having this Maserati badge on the front makes you a little bit more upscale, a little bit more different than all the other ones. I think that's a big plus from my point of view. Let me know in the comments, what do you think about this Grecale Modena? Are you disappointed that I'm not driving the Trofeo model? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. And we're gonna see each other on the next review.